Your brain has been signing contracts since the day you were born, agreements you didn't consciously make, silent contracts that shape your decisions, reactions, and even your sense of worth. You're living by words you didn't even know that you agreed to. Hi, I'm Raquel, your GPS for success. And today we're exposing those silent agreements so you can break free and live intentionally. Let's get started. Breakthrough. Today's episode is brought to you by Self-Esteem, the premier platform for mastering confidence in sales. If you've ever struggled with self-doubt, hesitation, or imposter syndrome in your business, Self-Esteem helps you break free. With their own proven techniques, you'll not only believe in yourself, but sell with certainty. Discover how to elevate your confidence at self-esteem.com. Silent agreements are not written on paper. They're not spoken out loud, but they are powerful. They're the beliefs that you've adopted without questioning them. You don't even know that it's been shaping your life. Now think about this. Your mind is a contract writer, and your experiences, the pen. Every word someone spoke over you, every painful moment, every repeated criticism, all of that it doesn't always, but it can turn into a silent agreement. Maybe you were told this as a child. People like us don't get ahead. And so you signed that agreement, that lie, as though it was true. Maybe you experienced rejection, and maybe you silently agreed that you're not good enough. Or maybe you saw someone else's success and whispered to yourself, that could never be me. But here's the thing, silent agreements, they're not the truth. They're just familiar. And what's familiar can feel like truth until you expose it. Think of it this way. Silent agreements is like a virus that's hidden in your mind. They're operating in the background, infecting your thoughts, your choices, and even your prayers. They keep you from speaking up because somewhere inside of you, you've agreed that your voice doesn't matter. They will stop you from pursuing opportunities because you've signed off on something that's not even true, on a belief that you're not good enough. They will keep you trapped in toxic relationships because you've agreed with the lie that you have to earn love. The most dangerous thing about silent agreements is that they're operating in stealth. Like you don't even know that they're there. They're like nasty ninja. You don't know they're there until you start to hit a wall, and then you're like, I can't explain what's happening. And maybe you've tried everything, affirmations, books, counseling, and yet the same struggles keep on coming back. It's like I'm going in a cycle or a circle. They're different. They feel the same, but they're different. Circles is it going round and round and you're getting nowhere. Cycle, you'll know, is because you might be going around, but the time period of when it finishes is shorter. That's how you know the difference between a circle and a cycle, by the way. Now, going back to that wall that you might be hitting is that unless you recognize it, unless you know what it is, unless you can't identify it, it won't change. What's not confronted is not changed. But if you don't know what you have to confront, that's why things are not changing. Except that today I'm going to help you change that in your life. Now, these silent agreements, they don't just appear out of nowhere. They're born from experiences, repeated words, especially that, and the internal narrative. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And emotional wounds. Now let's talk about words spoken over you. Sometimes it's just something that someone said. Maybe you've heard this before. A parent who constantly criticizes you. Why can't you do anything right? Or worse, why can't you be like your brother or your sister? Maybe it's a teacher that says something like, you're not really leadership material. Maybe it's a friend that betrayed you. And maybe it was something like, people like you are always too much. You're just too much. You're too loud. You're too ... These words, they become seeds. Because they were spoken by someone you trusted, they took root. Let's talk about repeated experiences, because sometimes it's just a pattern. It's a pattern that you've lived through. Maybe you've been constantly overlooked at work, repeated rejection in relationships, always being the one that gives, but doesn't really receive. So what is your brain doing, right? It's connecting the dots for you because it's your helper. It's your internal assistant. And it starts to create a belief system. This is who I am. Why is it doing that? Because your brain always wants to be in the truth, but it gets the truth by what you believe, and it will keep you in that confine that story. Now let's talk about personal interpretation. Sometimes it's the story that you told yourself. Maybe something like this. If they left me, I must not be worth loving. If I failed once, I must be a failure. If I have to work this hard, it must mean that I'm not enough. These are just interpretations. And those interpretations, the more you're saying that internal narrative, right? That internal story, it becomes a script. Think of your life now as a movie. You are writing the script by the internal dialogue that you are saying to yourself, by receiving the words from other people and then saying that that's true and allowing them to take root. And then those scripts, those words, that story becomes what you're actually living by. This is the cost of these silent agreements that you may not be able to see right now, but you're going to see it because if it's a truth, it was a great quote that I heard by Lance Wallnau a long time ago. If it's the truth that sets you free, it's a lie that keeps you captive. And we all have lies that have been keeping us captive, keeping us small, keeping us playing it safe, keeping us not living out the kind of life that Jesus has paid for us to live. But for those of you who are watching me now and throughout time, it is changing for you. This is your one breakthrough now. What is it costing you? Cost you opportunities. You might hesitate to even take a promotion because you don't see yourself as a leader. Or worse, you're qualified and you won't even do it because you don't see yourself as a leader. Maybe you're like, well, I don't have everything that they're looking for, but you have 80% or more. And you're still disqualifying yourself because of that internal narrative. It can cost you joy. Even when something good happens, you can't even enjoy it because you're still waiting for the other shoe to drop. You're like, oh, this is going to last long. Let me not get used to it. Maybe you don't even tell yourself that, but if you start to look at your behavior is telling on you. It can cost you peace. You could be living in a state of anxiety, always trying to prove yourself because you fear that you're not enough. I remember a client who could not say no. She would just overcommit, overextend, and then feel resentful. And that's happened to me. I have to be very I have to transparency. I have to be very careful when I am in a really good, happy mood because I tend to think that I can do everything when I am in that high dopamine. Like, yes, let's take over the world. And then 3 weeks later, I'm like, why do I have all these things? Or 2 months later, why am I exhausted? It's because I said yes to too many things and I do it. And then I'm resentful to my own calendar. But who's in charge of the calendar? Me. But going back to my client, she was having this pattern. But this is what we discovered. It was a lie that she was believing. If I don't help, I am not worth loving. And that's coming to mind too. I saw a reel a long time ago that said your love language is actually your wound. I said, oh, that's interesting. Because there are people, right? We have different personality gift clusters. For those of you who I call the salt of the earth, you're the kumbaya, you're the backbone, you're a great resource person, you're a helper. People can really count on you. But especially for you, beloved, you need to, I mean, you can do what you want because you're grown. But if I was you, I would learn the art of tactfully saying no. But imagine living your whole life believing that you had to earn people's love and that if you don't do something for them, they won't acknowledge you, they won't receive you, they won't accept you. And the thing is, that's one of the top fears of everyone, or most people anyway, that if you really knew me for who I was, you wouldn't love me or accept me. And so then we create all these other stories to make ourselves acceptable. But it was a trap of a silent agreement. But I need you to hear this, beloved, because silent agreements, it is not your destiny. It's just decisions that were made a lot of times in a moment of pain. Not always, but many times. But decisions can be changed. And that's the good news. So I'll share with you a story about myself to help you to understand how silent agreements can really be a detriment to you. I used to carry this, agreement that my voice was too much, and it showed up everywhere. I would water down my message because I was afraid I was going to offend somebody. Now, there is wisdom with reviewing to saying, should you say that or not? But I would, really go into analysis paralysis around something. and then water it down. And of course it didn't land because I didn't say what I needed to say. I would keep my ideas to myself, even when I knew that they were good. I would over explain, trying to make sure that no one felt uncomfortable. Except for me, I'm the one who ended up feeling uncomfortable during that period. But God reminded me that my voice is to set captives free. And that shook me because I realized that I have been silencing myself for the sake of others, but me silencing myself for what I thought was the sake of others, I was actually hurting them. I was hurting them because I thought I was making them more comfortable. But sometimes the things I say are meant to feel uncomfortable. I'm not doing it on purpose. I don't go out to create conflict and chaos. But sometimes the truth has to be delivered still in love, even if it's a hard truth. So I broke the silent agreement. And this is actually one of the avenues that helped me break it for good. Well, I don't want to be like, yeah, it's broken for good. It feels like it's broken for good. And if there's anything that's hidden, God will go ahead and reveal it to me. No one is 100%. And a lot of these things, they happen in degrees. And that's okay. That is 100% fine. I started to choose, it's a choice, to believe that my voice is powerful, that it can heal. And it's okay then not everyone will receive what I have to say. I mean, not everybody receives what Jesus said and they're still not receiving it. So who am I to think that everybody's going to receive everything that I have to say if not even Jesus has 100%? I mean, we have to sometimes put things in perspective in order for us to change that belief system. Like, oh yeah, and he's always right. God is always right. He's still not believed by many people. What makes you think that people are going to 100% receive you if they don't even 100% receive God? It's ridiculous, right? When we say it out loud, sometimes the things that we believe are so ridiculous. And that's the thing. The more you step into it, the more you will organically transform. And when I did, my audience began to grow. I started to get amazing opportunities to create things that are transforming people's lives. My impact deepened, and it was really fast. And I'm starting to feel a freedom like I've never known. So how do you recognize your silent agreements? One, notice the patterns. Do you always feel like it's not enough no matter what you're achieving, or you're not enough no matter what you have achieved? Do you find yourself saying, I can't, and you haven't even tried yet? Do you over apologize even when it's not even your fault? These are clues. They point to agreements that you haven't even recognized. What is an automatic reaction when you make a mistake? Do you say things like, I'm so stupid, I can't get anything right, they probably hate me now? These phrases, they're not just thoughts. They're signatures of silent agreements. Where do you feel most stuck? In your career, in your relationships, your faith? Silent agreements thrive in the places that you're struggling the most. And now that you understand what silent agreements are and how they form, I want you to take a deep breath, because in the next segment, we're not just going to talk about them, we're going to break them. I'm going to walk you through a step-by-step process. It's going to help you to identify those silent agreements. We're going to confront them because what's not confronted is not changed. And we're going to replace them with the truth, what God says about it. Stay with me. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. See you on the other side.
Thank you for watching Prospera TV Network. We hope you're enjoying the show. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
You felt it, that nudge in your spirit, like something is off, but you can't explain why. Life isn't meant to be stuck on the same page. What if this is your red pill moment, the page where the story shifts? Hi, I'm Raquel, your GPS for success. In just one shift session, we'll break through the invisible script that's been holding you back. Fast, faith-filled, and neuroscience-backed. Book your shift session today at myshiftnow.net. You're not broken. You're just one choice away from breakthrough. Welcome back to One Breakthrough Now. If you're new to me, my name is Raquel and I'm your GPS for success. And now that you know what silent agreements are, get ready for your one breakthrough now, because those silent agreements, those words that you didn't realize you were saying yes to, it's time to break free. Awareness without action is just observation, and we're not here for that. We're here for transformation. We're going to do more than just talk about the silent agreements. I'm going to help you to identify them, confront and rewrite them. So grab a notebook, your phone, or just take some mental notes. You can always come back to the episode, because this is where your breakthrough is about to happen. The first step is to spot the contract. Awareness. You can't break a contract that you didn't realize that you signed off on. So let's start here. What are the phrases that run through your mind on repeat? What's the voice in your head whispering when you're about to step out of your comfort zone? Maybe it's, I'm always behind. I never get chosen. I'm not the type of person who succeeds. Take a moment now. Yes, right now. Write it down. Grab a post-it and put it in your notebook later. Don't just think about it. Capture it. Make it tangible by writing it down. Seeing it in front of you makes it real. And when it's real to you, you can change it. I'm going to take you through another journal prompt. And it's really important because it might be something that you're like, I don't want to do that. I was a victim of toxic positivity, which means that I never wanted to say anything positive, negative, or say anything negative, right? Which is a good thing. However, what happens is that was not confronted again, is not changed. And so I would have these negative thoughts and I would not confront them. I would just suppress them. So when we have a negative thought, we need to do something with them and do something on purpose, understanding what's really going on. Otherwise, you're just suppressing them. And what happened to me was that it really opened up a doorway for deep depression and for me wanting to take my life for different times. And I don't want that for you. So if you're having negative thoughts, it's just normal, because your brain is just offering you the things that you have been telling yourself the last 60 or 90 days. And that can change, and that will change today. So right now, the journal prompt is for you to think about and allow 3 negative thoughts to come up that you say quite often. Don't overthink it. What's the voice? And this is something that you can think about. If you're like, I can't think of anything negative. What comes up when you have felt doubt? Think of your brain like a courtroom. Those silent agreements, they are the verdicts that you have accepted without a trial. But today we're going to put those beliefs on the stand. Now, I used to believe that I was too much for people, and maybe you can relate, especially if you're a high achiever or an entrepreneur. I thought that I had to shrink. I had to tone myself down. I wasn't professional enough. I had to look a certain way in order for me to be accepted. And then when I did dress the way I wanted to dress, ironically, I was too much for people, but that's actually where I would then have a lot of open doors. So there's that. Like, the truth was always in front of me, but I wasn't recognizing it. And people would be uncomfortable around me. I still see people sometimes uncomfortable around me. But that belief, it didn't protect me. It imprisoned me. It kept me from owning my own voice, taking the stage, and sharing my message boldly. I had unknowingly signed that contract. My voice is too much. I'm too much. I'm too loud. I'm not professional enough. They were all interconnected. It showed up in my relationships, in my business, even in how I prayed. This is the gift of awareness. It's grace. Because once you see it, then you have the power to change it. And that's what happened for me. And that's what will happen for you too. Awareness is the first step. But now we need to confront. We have to capture the agreement. So ask yourself, where did I sign off on that? Was it something someone said to me? Was it an experience that left a mark? Was it a story I started telling myself to feel safe? Now, I remember I had a client who felt like she didn't have what it took to be a leader, which was ridiculous. She did. She was a leader. And when we were doing the work together, you know what we found out? It was something that started. It was the open door in 3rd grade. She was in charge of a project, and the way it went was she was in charge, and then the kids started to call her bossy. But she was the boss. She wasn't bossy. She was the boss. And the other children didn't like that, probably because they wanted to be in charge, but she was the one put in charge. But it started to root in this lie that she was bossy. But how did her brain interpret that experience? Leadership is bad. That was the contract. It's not good to be the leader. It's not good to be in charge. Being strong is wrong. Being in the front is too much. I'm too much. But it wasn't true. And those silent agreements that you have that are keeping you from everything that God has for you, they're not true either. They're not permanent. They're just familiar. And because they're familiar, we don't even question it. What's familiar isn't always true. Here's another journal prompt. Journaling is great because it helps you to see patterns. If you can't perceive the patterns, you can't change anything. There was a great quote, and the quote was something like, "You need to break the pattern before the pattern breaks you." And that's exactly what we're doing, because the patterns that we have been going, just playing out have been breaking us. But today that changes. That belief that we just talked about, that I had you journal and thinking about those negative ones, who taught you that belief? Was it a parent? Was it a teacher? Was it a friend? Was it not a spouse that young? Was it a sibling? What was the moment you first believed it? Like for my client, right? She first started to believe that she was too bossy and therefore leadership was not good, all the way back to third grade. Your brain is a storyteller and a story keeper, and it's not always based on facts. It's not always accurate. Sometimes it'll record fiction as fact because it was repeated often enough. Today, you get to be the editor of your story. Instead of just accepting the thoughts that are coming, question them. Who told me this? Did they speak from wisdom or their own wounds? And sometimes it's a mixture of both. Is what I'm thinking true? Or is it something that I just have known? It's familiar to me. And now we're going to transmute it. You're going to rewrite it right now. Let's transform it into a truth that empowers you. Look at the limiting belief that you've written down and let's flip the script. Let's turn it into the powerful truth. Maybe you had this, an old agreement. I'm not good enough. The new one, I am designed for greatness and my voice matters. Maybe it was, I'm always behind. But now you can say, I move at my divine pace and I always arrive right on time. Maybe an old agreement was, people like me, they never succeed. But the new contract can be, I am chosen and opportunities align with me. Let's do another journal prompt. You're like, wow, we're really journaling today. Yes, it's good because, again, we're looking for patterns. And like that quote that I probably butchered, right? We need to break the patterns before the pattern breaks us. So all I want you to do is write down your old agreement in one side and then in your paper, and your new agreement right next to it. And then for 7 days, just speak to yourself, the new one. And even in the old one, right? If you're using that same paper, cross out the old one physically, right? Well, it's on this side. Cross that one out. Smiley face on this one, because that's the new one, the story that you want to start to embed and rewire in your brain. That's the new story. Remember the old country song? That's my story and I'm sticking to it. That's your story. Stick to it. Create the new voice in your mind by how it got there to begin with. Repetition. The same way it got in is the same way it can go out. And the great part about it is that now that you're putting intention with it, it's not going to take as long to be reversed. In fact, the more emotion you can put on it, the faster it will rewire and reverse itself. You don't have to wait 90 days. Now, there is this thing about, yes, most things take about 62-ish, 64 days before it starts to really embed in you, over 90 days to make it a lifestyle change. But it doesn't have to be that slow. Sometimes it is, and most times it is, but the time's going to pass anyway. So who cares? You can create the new voice in your mind by doing this practice every single day. So I encourage you to do it for 7 days. It's going to pass anyway, and you can actually habit stack it. Put the new thing, the new voice, that new belief system that you want to embody and really live out, put it in the bathroom, put a post-it there. While you're brushing your teeth, say it. You do that twice a day or more, right? When you go to the restroom, if you work from home, say it, right? You're going there at least 3 times. So now you're up to 5 times a day. Saying it, put it on your phone, put it, on your television. Where are you at? What are the things around you that you can incorporate in order for you to do this? Again, it's going to take a little bit of time, but doesn't have to. God can do a quick work. But sometimes things are going to pull you into the process of time, because maybe that belief system is really rooted with other things as well. And God wants us to dismantle all of them. He promised that every tree that he did not plant, he's going to root out. Those trees are the belief systems. If it's not lining up with the kingdom of heaven, if it's not lining up with what he said in his word, those are not the beliefs he wants you to have. He wants you to have his beliefs. And his beliefs, his thoughts toward you are always good for an expected end of success. Those are the things he wants you to incorporate. Those are the things he wants you to believe. But how do you get there? Repetition or a high emotional event. So you can create your high emotional events by thinking about some of the things that have happened and then seeing yourself. There's like different modalities to do that. But the easy way, because your brain loves repetition, is to repeat it to yourself. Create a little jingle, hum it, see yourself living that out. What does that look like for you now that you are that thing? It is decision. Everything else is catching up to your decision. You are the deciding factor. You are the free moral agent, and you get to decide what you are going to think about. You are not your thoughts. You are the thinker of your thoughts, and you get to decide as an adult, wait, where did that come from? Do I still, maybe I felt this way up to this point, but I don't want that life anymore. This is no longer serving me. What is a better thought? Create the new voice in your mind, because every 10 seconds, your brain is checking in with the voice of your mind, which is the voice of your mindset. Your brain is checking in with what you decide, how you feel and see yourself. Give it a new voice. Before we move on, I want to give a quick shout out to today's sponsor, Self-Esteem, the place where you can elevate your confidence in sales and break free from silent contracts of self-doubt. They offer a really cool confidence quiz that's absolutely free that helps you identify the areas where you're unknowingly holding yourself back. So head over to selfesteem.com and take the fun quiz. Now, breaking your silent agreement is not a one-time thing, which is why I'm encouraging you to do the 7-day practice. I know maybe you're like, well, isn't 21 days to make a habit? No. Habits are created after 60 days of doing it consistently every single day, which means if you miss a day, you have to start all over with the clock. What 21 days does is that it creates momentum, and you want to create momentum, but 21 days might feel too much for people, or 62 or 90 or more, but you can do anything for 7 days. You're like, I can't do it for 7 days. Start with 3. Decide on a number and stick to it, and then just keep on doing that number over and over and over again. But it got there through repetition, and you already know from the first part of the segment what it's costing you. It has already cost you. Are you willing to allow the lies that you don't want to confront because you're like, that's too easy, that's not going to do anything? Yes, it will. Just like the lies that you believe that have been exposed and now you don't believe them anymore. Why? You were told these things over and over and over again until you believed them, and then you went on automatic pilot. How bad do you want things to change? Isn't it worth your investment of literally like 30 seconds a day, a few times a day? Well, yes, it is. It's not a one-time thing. It doesn't have to take a long time either. It's what I call the 1% model. 1% or less of your day, which is only 14 minutes and 40 seconds. Aren't you worth investing in yourself that time? Of course you are. Of course you are. Think of it, it's a compound effect. So even if you do it 30 seconds a few times a day, it's compounding over time. Just like the belief that got in there, compounded over time, this will as well. But to help you, I created a Rewire Reality workbook. It is not just a workbook, it's actually a self-coaching portal. And each page you're going to uncover, confront, and rewrite the beliefs that have been holding you back. And they're based on this series. And when you pre-order now, you get a whole bunch of goodies because you're going to get it digitally, physically. There's an audiobook component, and there's also going to be a free group coaching that's attached with it as well. And you get free shipping. And it's under $15. And there's a printable decoration pack that's going to be in there as well. I like saying and. I always love to love on my people and to give them a whole bunch of things. So for under $15, you're going to get the physical book, the audio book, the digital book, the group coaching that's going to come along with that, some printable things as well to help you out. Everything you need to know is at the site below. Silent agreements are powerful, but they're not permanent. At least they don't have to be. So let's solidify this with prayer. Pray with me. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the truth that sets us free. We release every lie and silent agreement that we have been carrying. We declare that we are who you say we are. We are chosen. We are loved. We're designed for greatness. May every word we speak align with your truth. In the name of our King Jesus, we pray for ourselves and each other. Amen. Remember that you are not what your past has named you. You are who God called you to be. Thank you for joining me on this episode. Until next time, may God's richest and best be yours. Bye for now.
Breakthrough. This is your Prospera era, where dreams align with grace, abundance flows like rivers. You've stepped into your place. Rise, reign, and remember, you were born to shine. Welcome to your moment, Prospera, it's time.
We hope you enjoyed today's show on Prospera TV Network. Make it a point to visit us on YouTube and catch all your favorite shows anytime you want. Interested in hosting a show of your own? Or advertising your business on our network? Contact Elena Rodriguez.